What is going on YouTube? My name is Nevin the Barber, and in today's YouTube tutorial we're going to be covering a burst fade haircut. So to get right into today's haircut tutorial, as you guys can see, I did take off all the blonde hair from my client. He did want to remove all the blonde hair from this haircut, so I did use a number 7 guard to remove all the bulk. And to get straight into the fade, we did create a circular guideline right around my client's ear. Since this is a burst fade, we do want to make sure that the fade pops out in every single direction when we blend it out. So that's why I went ahead and did a circular shape around my client's ear. So I used my gamma hitters to put in that first bald line, and here I'm just going over it with my gamma shaver just to ensure that it's all the way down to the skin. And to get right into our next step in this haircut today, I will be using my gamma ergos with the lever all the way open to put in my next guideline. And this right here is going to be cutting the hair at a 0.5 length. So right now, the first step that we're doing is blending the skin into the 0.5. So now that we have that guideline set, we want to make sure it's nice and consistent, just as our trimmer line was. And once we have that complete, I'll begin blending it out just by doing some lever play, closing the lever and shortening our cutting stroke as we flick out that skin line. And you guys want to make sure to not go over that guideline that you created with the lever all the way open. And now that we have that bottom line blended out, we can get right into the next step with the number 1 guard all the way open. And now I am using my Wahl 1919 anniversaries. I do have a modified Andes blade on these clippers right here, so that's how I was able to put the Andes guards on this clipper. So now that we have that guideline set, I'll begin taking it out with the half guard on my Babyliss clippers. So with the half guard all the way open, this is cutting the hair at a number 1 guard length. And same thing, we're flicking up all the way to the top of that guideline, but we're going to make sure that we don't go past it. And as long as you guys are shortening your cutting stroke when you're closing the lever, you will be able to notice a gradual blend coming together. So just be consistent and be patient with your steps, and you guys will see that your fade will start to come out nice and clean. And now that we have the 0.5 blended into the 1.5, we can begin blending our fade into the bulk of the hair. So I started off with the number 4 guard all the way open, and then I closed it right away. Whenever I get into the bigger guards, I usually just go lever open and then lever closed. I don't do a lot of lever play with the 4, 3, and the number 2 guard. So right here, I'm finishing up with the number 3 closed. And now to get into my 1.5 guard all the way open, this is cutting the hair at a 2 guard length. So we're using our 2 to flick out our fade into the bulk of the hair. And you guys can see that little by little that blend is starting to come together. So like I said, just be consistent with your steps, and the fade will come together as long as you guys apply a consistent cutting method. But we can get right into the right side of our blend. So we're going to repeat the same exact steps, starting with my gamma hitters. We're going to carve in our first bald line right above my client's earlobe, creating a circular shape. And you guys do want to try and get this consistent and symmetrical as possible as the other side, just to ensure that the fade comes out nice and clean on both sides. And same thing, we're going to knock it all the way down to the skin with our electric shaver. And now with my gamma ergos all the way open, we're going to go up about 1 inch, just so we have enough room to blend out our skin line into the 0.5. And like I said, with these guidelines, you guys want to make sure that they come out consistent and clean as you can, just because if not, the fade isn't going to come out as clean or blurry as it can be. So whenever putting in these guidelines, you guys always want to make sure they're clean and symmetrical, just as your bald trimmer line was. And again, just doing some lever play, shortening our cutting stroke as we close that lever to blend out that line. And now with the number 1 guard all the way open, on my Wahl 1919 anniversaries. Same thing, we're gonna go up about an inch to create our next guideline. And we're gonna go straight into the half guard on our Babyliss Clippers to blend it out. So with the lever all the way open, this is cutting the hair at a number 1 guard length. And you guys can already see that the skin into the 1.5 is already coming together. So after we have this blended out, we will get straight into the number 4 guard again, just to start blending our fade into the bulk of the hair. You guys want to make sure to stay beneath the parietal ridge whenever flicking out into the bulk, just so you don't go up into the top, into the crown of your client's hair. 4 open, 4 closed, then down to the 3 open, 3 closed, and then down to the 2 open, 2 closed. And after those 3 steps, our fade will pretty much be blended into the bulk of the hair. We might just have to go back and do some shear over comb just to detail out those last dark areas in the fade. But always remember that the fade happens from the 0 to the 1.5. So if you guys can get a nice clean transition from the skin to the 1.5, all you have to then focus on is blending the fade into the bulk of the hair. And now to get into the back of this burst fade, we're gonna be doing the V shape. So it's super simple to do this. You just wanna make sure you start in the middle of your client's nape area, connecting it to the left and right region of your client's nape. Same thing on the right side. You guys can see that I'm keeping it nice and symmetrical to create that nice clean V shape in the back. And I was able to do this effortlessly with the Gamma hitters. So like I said, if you guys would like to purchase these, feel free to use my code Nevin10 to receive a discount on them. I do highly recommend these hitters and the Gamma ergos. So if there's any barbers out there trying to step up your clipper game, I do highly recommend these clippers right here. I'll be sure to include their website in the description. And one more time, just going back, detailing my fade. You guys can see that it's coming out nice and blurry. So whenever I do a lineup, I always begin by starting on the C cup. And you always want to keep it natural as possible. Nobody likes a pushback hairline, and not only that, the more natural you keep it, the more longer the haircut will last. So you always want to make sure and keep that hairline as natural as you can. And same thing for the box. On the front side of my client's lineup, I always try to get a clean 90-degree angle, again, while keeping that hairline as natural as you guys can keep it. And now to apply my enhancements, just to make this haircut pop out a little bit more. You guys simply just want to put a business card wherever you lined up your client and apply your enhancement spray just to give it that extra pop. Now that we have that complete, I went ahead and leaned my client back just so I could razor his lineup against the grain. And I do highly recommend doing a razor lineup this way, just because whenever you cut the hair against the grain, it leaves the haircut a lot sharper. And not only that, the haircut will last longer when going against the grain. So whenever doing the razor, always be sure to get the sharpest cut and bring that razor blade up against the grain of the hair. And whenever doing this, you guys always want to make sure to keep the blade at a 30-degree angle while keeping constant tension on the skin. And you guys can see that this right here just gives the lineup a complete different pop, as opposed to not going up against the grain at all. So now that we have the lineup complete, I'm just going to go ahead and style my client's hair, applying some smooth pomade. And like always, I always like to go back and detail my haircuts. Right here, I'm just doing some thinning shears over comb, just to detail out those last dark areas in the top of the fade. And if you guys have learned anything in this tutorial so far, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like or any feedback on this video. If you're new to my channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. And I do appreciate each and every single one of you guys who tunes into my videos. Thank you for watching. And if you guys want to learn any other haircuts, please be sure to drop them in the comments so I can put out another tutorial for you guys. And lastly, just going back with my shears to knock off those last baby hairs sticking out on the lineup. And that is about it for today's video. Again, my name is Nevin the Barber. Thank you guys for tuning in today, and I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one.